Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for checking out this video. So today we have another retro game console. It's a Sega CDX, rare Sega CDX. This is actually a friend of mine's that we're going to see if we can get it up and running. So he said that he was just using it one day and then it just turned off and never turned back on. The CDXs are cool because they got the cartridge slot and also the slot for CDs, so they could actually play Sega CDs and just the regular cartridges, which makes these things very rare and actually pretty expensive. A little jealous. I would like to have one of these, so hopefully I can find one that doesn't work and try and fix it up. But today we're going to focus on this one. These things commonly have bad fuses, so hopefully it's just that, but we won't know until we take it apart. But first off, let's try it out. So here's the power adapter for it. Plug it in. Hit the power button. I believe we should at least see something turn on here, and we don't. So let's start with the basics. Let's check this power adapter, which is the one he supplied, and see if it is good. And since my probes won't fit in the center here, I do have these little needle point probes, but since everything is an unorganized mess, I can't find the actual one for the red probe, so we're just going to put the black one in its place. Alright, so got our multimeter on voltage mode, DC volts to be exact. Just place that on the out shield, which is ground. Put this in the middle and see. Okay, so we're getting 11.9, close to 12 volts. I think that's a little bit higher than it's supposed to get, but should be fine. At least we know it's working. Alright, so it's not the power adapter. Alright. So with these CDXs, there's one screw here, one screw here, and two screws here. This top screw is actually just there's a mechanism that I guess holds the CD tray or lifts the CD tray in place, and that's what this screw is for. It actually shouldn't affect what we need to do, which is just get to the power board. So we'll just need to take this bottom screw out, and then the 4 screws that are underneath here. So let's get started and do that. These are just regular Phillips head screws. So let's start taking this thing apart. Okay, so we have the screws out. So now I believe this bottom piece should just kind of pry up. See if we get a spudger underneath. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that reminds me. So there are actually 2 other screws that we'll need to remove before this power board can come out, and you probably won't be able to see it. I don't think I have like a flashlight or anything to shine light in there, but can you? No. Anyway, there are 2 screws holding the cart connector in place. Those screws will need to come out. Just magnetize the screwdriver so we can make it easier. So the screws are loose, but can't get them to necessarily come out. Let's see. Just flip it upside down, maybe. Okay, there's the one popped out. Okay, see, we'll take this bottom piece off, and the other screw just fell out. Okay, so now, what do we have to do? Looks like there's a right here. See that solder right there? That's actually holding that this copper shield here onto the board. So I think we need to heat that up so that we can loosen the solder up and just pry this over that way. So get our trusty soldering iron. Apply some heat. Yep. Easy enough. Okay. We got 4 screws right here, but I believe those are actually just to strengthen and hold the controller ports in place. So we're not going to worry about those. And then there are 2 wires here that are soldered to this board that need to come up. I believe those, looks like they must have, it was a positive, and I guess this would be the ground. Probably supplies power to the CD board or some other component that is not part of this board. So let's just apply some solder or some heat. Okay. So now if my research serves me well, this, you can see here, these pins right here are actually pins that connect to another board. So this is where we'll have to apply our force to pop those pins up, and then I think it should loosen the board. So we're going to want to kind of just get fingers under there and then just kind of try and gently, but with some pressure, to just pull straight up. Be careful not to bend anything. Okay, nope. We want to hold off for a second before we do that, because it looks like there are screws. 1 screw, 2 screw, oh, 1, 2 little screws holding this board down. And that's kind of why you always want to go slowly the first time, because you don't want to apply too much pressure and crack something or break something. If you're not familiar taking something apart, just go slow, and slow equals fast. At least when you have no idea what you're doing. Alright, so let's try that again. Yep, got it. Okay, looks like there is a connector right there. We're going to okay, so we now looks like this is kind of maybe, I don't know if this is the main board or the main cartridge board. This looks like it's just, this is like mainly the power board. Let's put that back together. So this is, I mean, we're actually going to focus right on this fuse right here. as the only fuse. But apparently this is a common problem with these things. So let us, I just kind of want to look at this board for a sec. Kind of cool. Yeah, but this is what connects to the other board. So definitely what you want to apply the pressure when you're taking this out right there and kind of lift as straight up as possible. Otherwise, you know, you could easily bend these and probably make your life a little miserable trying to get them back together. The capacitors on this thing look pretty good. They don't show any physical signs of being bad. And maybe that could be a thing for another time to replace them, or could be the problem. So, all right. So let's get you a closer look here, and then let's see what's going on. Okay. So now, got the fuse right here. We are going to check it. So I'm gonna put multimeter in continuity mode, and since the fuse, we should hear beeps when we touch each side, and we don't. So yeah, this fuse is blown. It's bad. It's probably causing our issue. Now, why did it go bad? I don't know. Typically, if you replace a fuse, it's because some other component on the machine maybe was drawing too much current and caused the fuse to blow. So it's possible that when we replace this, it might just blow again. But since it's a very common problem with these CDXs, I'm thinking the fuse is probably most likely just faulty and died over time. I actually read an article the other day that explained with fuses, it's not so much the voltage or current that kills them, it's the heat from the current. So if this is a 2.5 amp fuse, but if say don't know how to best explain this because I don't necessarily understand it the greatest myself, but basically if there's a lot of current going through this, the more current generates more heat. So if this fuse is rated for however many degrees over 3 seconds and this thing goes 4 seconds, it's going to blow it. So the more current that goes through it produces the more heat. So maybe there was a power surge, maybe something was just working harder, maybe there is a faulty component drawing more current, creating more heat, blowing the fuse. Maybe the fuse is just weak over time. So let's replace it and see which one it is. All right, so I think it's just these two points. And I'm going to go the lazy way and use my desoldering gun. I should have turned it on beforehand. But turn it on, let it heat up for a second. Actually, just to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to apply some leaded solder, because this is probably lead-free solder. So if we apply some leaded solder to this, it'll mix in with the lead-free solder that this is probably, and it'll lower the melting point of the solder and make it easier for the soldering iron, or desoldering gun rather. All right. Let's apply some flux, just like always. See if I can get. Should probably just take this board off and make life a lot easier, but I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. See if I can get you a better light though. See if that helps with the light. Yeah, alright. Okay, I've got the desoldering gun. I'm just gonna apply. See if that was enough. Ooh, that's hot. Hot water burn, baby. Oh, that side's up. But this side's not. It's just apply a little bit of heat. And there we go. Oh, sorry, couldn't see that. So I just applied a little heat to let it go the rest of the way. And then another proper test is you can always test this component out of circuit, which always yields the best results, but I mean, it's a fuse. If it didn't make continuity on the board, it's not going to do it here. But like with capacitors and other things, you know, results can vary if they're in the board connected in series or parallel or anything like that, because they could take on values of components near them. So then if you're unsure if a part is good, you could always just take it out and test it outside of the circuit, and that will give you a definite answer. But that didn't beep. It is bad. Okay, so we're going to just gonna see, do we need to clean this up a little bit? No, it looks like we got all the solder we can apply. The new fuse, which my friend supplied me with these new fuses, which are also little pico fuses, 2.5 amps, I think 125 volts, something like that. So these are rated to work with the CDX. So we are going to steal one and place it in here. So it doesn't matter which way we put these in. And unless it's okay. Alright, so it doesn't matter which way you put them in. There's no negative or positive side, at least not on these ones. It just makes a connection, or, continues a connection. Try and make this look as nice as possible. The other one was standing a little up, so we're not going to make this one, not going to make it flush to the board. So that'll have to do. And now we're just going to kind of bend the legs out so they kind of stay in place. Find some solder. And solder these back on. don't be me. Don't try to not move the board or anything to make your life easier just because you don't want to mess up the video. But so if you're working on it, move it around, get yourself better angles, make it easier for you. Don't torment yourself by not being able to see because you don't want to change the video angle or mess with the camera or anything like that. Okay. So now we just have to remove the excess, maybe even just test the fuse. Put it back in continuity mode. Alright. So it's soldered, it's making a connection. Should be good. We now have to just trim those legs. And put this back together. And test it out. Where are my snips? This one's all messed. Look at this thing. Look at this. Look how man, this thing can't cut anything. I do have new ones. Where are they? Who knows? Okay. Right. That should be good enough. Okay. Alright, it doesn't look too bad. It's actually very similar to the other one. Alright, I'll just give the board a quick inspection, make sure, see if we see any like burn marks or anything. That's just dirt, it looks like. Should be good. It's connected. Okay. Let's put this thing back together. Okay, so now we're ready to put this thing back together, and actually it turned out that the piece I told you about, the screw to not take out, was actually this. So you can see this guide here was actually not sitting on it. I'll get a good view of it. But yeah, that screw goes in this track, and it was actually not in the track. So I actually had to fix that, which was just basically put the unscrewed it, screwed the screw in just enough where this could ply, this could come up into it, and then just finish screwing up the other way. And now, actually, the button actually works much better. So I don't know how that came out or why, but I fixed it. Okay, so now we can get started with putting this thing back together. So we're going to want to plug this back in, which goes this way. Yeah, should. Okay, so that's plugged in. And this is going to be the tricky part, so those pins need to go in there. So I think if we line it up well enough, it should just fall in place. And also want to make sure that we get the two brown cables here out of the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt it towards me, put the controller ports in, make them slide in, or not. There we go, there's one. Alright, so those are in. You can actually see that, so you can kind of look and try and line it up as best as possible. Still not. There we go. Alright, so yeah, they just kind of fall into place, so it wasn't actually too bad. So now that's nice and tight. Put the two screws holding the power board down back in place. And I think after that, I'm just gonna put this copper shield back and put the bottom cover on, but not screw it back in, because we can quickly test it. Okay, so now we need to resolder these back onto where originally they were. Okay. Okay. Now just kind of mold and form this copper the way it originally was. And obviously we gotta line up the holes. Okay, that should be lined up well enough. And I'm going to solder this back down here to get you a closer look. Wow, this allows for amazing lighting. Sorry about that. Sure, the quality of this video won't be all that great. Okay, so that's all now on and good. It looks like okay. So put the bottom on. Get the power. Make sure it's off. Pretty sure it is. Okay. Okay, no smoke, fire, or brimstone. So let's see. And it gets power. That is more than it was doing before. So that's a good sign. So I'm going to screw everything back together, and then we forgot something. And see, this is why you don't go all the way before. So we forgot to put the bottom, I guess probably little right for like stress release or something, relief on the card connector. So now we have to like hold that in place while we screw in the screws. This is going to be miserable. Now, going to put this all back together, throw a game in here, get a TV set up, and test this thing out. So let's do that. Alright, so now I got everything set up, and honestly I can't find my controllers, so I'm not going to be able to test that out. But if that stuff doesn't work, my friend will let me know, and we can make another video. Also, I don't have any CDs, Sega CDs to test with, but I believe if we power it on with nothing, it should check for a disc. So let's try that first. Okay. Alright, doesn't recognize a disc, makes sense. Yeah. So that's good. Well, it looks like this part's working, so let's turn it off. We got this this amazing game right here. I mean, this one flew under the radar, I'm telling you guys. This game's amazing. Pretty positive I've never played it. But we're going to throw this in there and see if it recognizes cartridge games. There we go. That's a good sign. So we'll let this load through, but yeah, I mean, I don't have anything else to test it with, and I'm going to blame watching the Avengers Infinity War movie on all of that, because after watching that movie, my life is in disarray. Still trying to process it. But yeah, it actually looks like this thing's working, and it was just a fuse. That's cool. So if you guys ever have power problems with your CDX, that could be the first place to check. Let's turn this off. But yeah, hopefully I can get my hands on another one of these and maybe try some other type of repair with it. I would definitely like to have one of my own to play around with. But thanks for checking out this video, and if you got any questions, please make sure to leave them in the comments. If you like this video, like, and if you like the channel, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.